I don't know about you, but we're already in the mood for the 33rd edition of the African Cup of Nations, which will be taking place in Cameroon. We are already counting down to that tournament. I welcome you to this edition of Nigeria Super Fans Forum. I'm Oluwafemi Ashaolu, and today on the show, I have the usual suspect. I'll not be flying solo. Kayode Ogundare, fresh from the Christmas break. Kayode Ogundare, you're welcome.
Thank you, and compliment of the season.
Same to you. I hope you had some awesome time to yourself.
Well, I did to the best of my the capacity of my pockets.
Okay, so no cow, just normal chicken.
Yes, normal chicken, fried chicken.
I hope you had an awesome time during the Christmas break. Like I said earlier, I promised you that I will be taking you closer to the action as far as the African Cup of Nations is concerned. The Super Eagles, of course, the preparation has started. The camping in Abuja has opened officially. So players will be trooping in any moment from now. So today on the show, Kayode and I will be looking at the 20th man list that has been put out by Coach Augustine Guavere. On Christmas Day, when some of us are still lounging on our chicken and all sorts, Augustine Guavere decided to surprise Nigerians and release a 20th man list. So today we'll be critically looking at that list, who should and not be on that list. So for you, I don't know, who do you think should have been on that list? So that's what we're looking at on the show today. We'll quickly go on this very break. We'll be back to get into the discussion. Please stay with us. Yeah, welcome back, and it's still Nigeria Super Fans Forum. Kayode, it was a bit surprising on Christmas Day. It was, well, some people said it was a Christmas gift to
Nigeria,
to football fans in the country. Yeah, we had a 28-man list. Originally, a lot of us were expecting a 23-man list as a custom is, but because of the change,
the CAF decided,
COVID and all that,
COVID,
yeah,
majorly because of COVID.
Yeah, so it was extended to 28, and we have some major, players, some players in the squad that have actually raised dust. So I will give you the liberty to start. For me, I think a lot of people said Enyimba goalkeeper John Noble shouldn't be on that list. Of course, the inclusion of Kelechi Nwakali has also been called into a question. But for you, let's look at that list from the goalkeeping department. Who do you think shouldn't have been on that list?
Thank you, Femi. I think first and foremost, I want to say that this enlarged list now is like 5 more than we've had in previous editions, like you said. And out of this, I think this list, this Super Eagles going to the AFCON is like the least experienced in AFCON. I mean, AFCON pedigree now that we've had since our first participation at the AFCON in 1957. So for me, is a list of players who are talented but who do not have the requisite experience playing in Africa. In Africa, you have of the 28 man on the list. We are going to have 12 debutants who have not been at the AFCON before. 12. I'm not sure any other country has that large number of players who have not had a previous AFCON experience. And taking it from the goalkeeping side, like you said, we have 4 goalkeepers now instead of the usual 3. John Noble, your friend that you talked about, is one of those 3. We have Francis Uzo, John Noble, Daniel Akpeyi, and Maduka Okoye. Of the 4, Uzo and Akpeyi were the last Nations Cup. Yeah. Maduka will be going to his first. John Noble will be going to his first. For me, I don't think the fact that John Noble is a home-based player is the only reason why I think he shouldn't be on the list. He shouldn't be on the list because a whole lot of people have argued, and I agree with them, that you should not put players on the list simply because they are home-based. If you're going to put an home-based, make sure he's the best at home. But can we say that of John Noble? No.
He's not even been playing regularly for
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He hasn't been playing for them regularly. So if you're going to take an home-based player, you should take one on form. Apart from form, it should be somebody who is good that everybody can attest to. I can tell you off my head now, like 3-4 players, goalkeepers now, that will take ahead of him. But
it
may not be a Dele Ayenugba because of reasons of his age, but I will take a Suraj Ayeleso ahead of him. I will take a Theophilus Afelokai ahead of him. I will take a Ojo Olorunloke of Eyimba, who has done very well for them this season on the continent. Yes, it is the same. It is the same. This same Ojo Olorunloke, who is Eyimba's first choice today, has been left out. You are taking a John Noble. Is he the best in his position? If he's not the best in his club, how can he be the best in the country? So, you see, these are some of the things that happen that leaves our coaches open to attacks.
So why would you think Augustine Gaba decided to retain him? Was it because, the last time during the group stage qualifiers for the 2022 World Cup, Gernot Rohr, before he was fired, called him up as replacement for Francis Uzoho. Yes. I mean, for our last game against the Cape Verde and the Central African Republic, would you think that Augustine Galvin retained Noble because of course it was in the last
when he was there? Did he taste action? No, it was so to speak.
He still had keepers.
So to speak, it was a training material there. So for me, I have always been of the opinion.
How about the experience?
I've always been of the opinion that take our best legs wherever they are. You cannot be undermining the Nigerian league. You are making sure that the Nigerian league is not where it should be, and at the same time you are asking that we take players from the league that you have deliberately undermined.
You are directing that to Gernot Rohr now, right?
I'm not talking about Gernot Rohr. Gernot Rohr didn't have anything to do with Nigerian league. I'm talking about those who are in charge of Nigerian league, who are undermining the league, shortchanging the players and the officials and even the fans. And you, on the same breath, you are saying take players from the league. Yet the things you are doing directly affects the players.
But some of these people have also come out to say that one of the reasons why Gernot Rohr was fired was because he was denigrating the league.
No, and I remember saying this then, Femi, that it wasn't Gernot Rohr that was denigrating the league. It was and still is those who are in charge of the league. The officials, those who are saddled with the responsibility of running our league, they are the ones denigrating the league. This same league was just the best in Africa at the point. And it reflected in the kind of play. No. Before him, it reflected in the quality of players that we took to the AFCON in 2013.
Okay, let's go to defenders now. We have Wilfred Troost-Ekong, we have Kenneth Omeruo, we have Leon Balogun, we have Abdullahi Shehu, Chigozie Ziem, Jamilu Collins, Olaina, Saidu Sanusi of Porto, then Olisanda. Olisanda is the incoming new guy
player
into the team.
Yeah, of the 9 defenders that were called up now, 7 of them were at the last AFCON. Yeah. The only exceptions were Ndada you talked about and Sanusi from Porto. Yeah. Those 2 are joining the team. Yeah. And for me, if you ask me, I would instead of taking Nda is a central defender, actually, and Sanusi is a left wing.
Doing well for
he is. And Sanusi is a left fullback. So for me, I think we are reasonably well staffed in that left fullback position. I would have dropped because we have an Olaina who can play very well at left fullback. We have a Jamilu Collins. Yes, we have a Jamilu Collins who can also play, who is a left fullback. Then you're not taking another Sanusi. I would rather take a central defender. Fine, I know you're going to say we already have a Troost-Ekong, we have a Leon Balogun, we have a Kenneth Omeruo.
I think I will agree with you.
I will take a central defender.
Kenneth Omeruo hasn't been playing very
exactly.
well. Very well.
And he could also play as a right back anyway.
But we have a Calvin Bassey that a lot of people thought, Calvin Bassey for Rangers, a lot of people thought it was going to come as a central defender, maybe and give some competition to the Oyinbo Wall, as usually call them.
Unfortunately, I was going to talk about the Oyinbo Wall. The Oyinbo Wall is not what it used to be. We've seen cracks when we played against Minos like Central African. Yes, I would think a Kevin Akpoguma would have been in that team. If you had a Kevin Akpoguma, you will see competition. You see, that's one of the problems I had with Gernot Rohr. So a player will not perform very well in his club. You invite him on the strength of that performance for his club. Then when he gets into the national team, you're not playing him out of position.
And you expect him
to not do well. Kevin Akpoguma has never been allowed to play in his natural position, which is the central fullback, because you are doing this out of respect for the Oyinbo Wall. But Kevin Akpoguma would definitely bench either of those 2. I can tell you that for free. He plays regularly in the Bundesliga. These guys, with all due respect, they are not on the same level with Kevin. But I think there's an hierarchy in this team. There are players who just have to be in the team.
Or is it just to loyalty now?
It's possible. It's possible. But for me, that's why I said I would rather see a Kevin in the team rather than even an Olisa. For me, is still relatively untested. Nobody will throw him into the ring except there's a major crisis. But Kevin Akpoguma has played German under international.
Let's quickly go on this very short break. We'll be back to talk about the midfield and the forward. I think the forward, that is where the crux of the discussion will be, because if Victor Osimhen will eventually not be playing for Nigeria at the AFCON, we should start in that position. We'll be back. Please stay with us. Yeah, welcome back, and it's still Nigeria Super Fans Forum, and we've been critically examining the 28-man list put out by Augustine Gavin for the Super Eagles ahead of the 33rd edition of the African Cup of Nations. And Kade Ogundare is here in the studio. Kade, let's go to the midfield now. It's just like the usual suspect. Wilfred Ndidi, Kelechi Omakali, like we said, is coming into the fray now. We have Chidera Ejuke, Frank Onyeka, and Joe Aribo. Those have been the regular. But let's look at Kelechi Omakali. A lot of people said this season he hasn't scored a goal or provided an assist for Huesca in the Segunda Division in Spain. So why invite him?
You see, the thing about Nwakali is that he's a player that lives for the big moments. If you invite him, despite, regardless of his club form, when you invite him, the little chances he has had, I think he has seized it with both hands. Even though it's a mystery that he has been dodgy at club level, but whenever he has the chance, because I remember I was at the Uyo Stadium when Nigeria, the B team, played against Atletico Madrid. That was in 2018 or thereabout. I saw that boy at close quarters, and I think he's one of the players that we really, really need. So coming into this team now, I would say it's a big plus. But let's look at the midfield as a unit now. As a unit, we have 5 players now instead of 4 that we had in 2019. Yes. And out of the 4 that we had in 2019, we have only 1 returning, Wilfred Ndidi. The other 3, Mikel Obi, Etebo, and John Ogu, are not here. Yeah. Ogu is clubless, as Mikel has retired from international football. Then Etebo is nursing an injury. So we understand why he's not there. In his place, we have a Frank Onyeka who has stolen my heart this season. With Brentford, he's this kind of player that he has energy. He reminds me each time of a Michael Essien, the former Ghana international. Yeah. So I like his all-action style. If he plays with Ndidi in the middle of the park, I think it's something that will, 1, give cover to our defense, and 2, be a launch pad for our attack. So when you have these 2 playing behind a Kelechi, for example, I think we are in for a good time. Kelechi is a ball carrier. See, forget this talk about him not having had enough chances. Like I said earlier, he's a player who takes his chances when he has them. And I am very sure that I'm excited with the prospect of seeing Kelechi play. Yeah, no, I'm talking about Nwakali. Nwakali now, I'm excited about the prospect of seeing him play.
Do you think he will get playing time in this?
That's a big question. If he does get it, I'm sure, like I said, he's a player that seizes opportunities when he has them. I'm sure that he's going to seize it. But whether he's going to get playing time ahead of a Chidera Ejuke, for example. Chidera is another very, very exciting player. He's a kind of player that can unlock defenses with his dribbles. But when you need a player who has, as they say, sense, who can split a defense with a pass, you are looking at Nwakali. There are 2 contrasting players with contrasting sides, but both of them are very, very exciting. The problem they've had so far is that they have never had the opportunity of time of expressing themselves. So if you give them enough time, between the 2 of them, we are sure. Then where does that leave a Joe Aribo? That is the big question.
I was actually going to that. Where
does it leave Aribo? As on the basis of current form, I think he's one of our hottest players now, regardless of the quality of the league where he's playing. And he's a player that has vision. He's a player that his passing is precise, and you know that he knows what to do with the ball every time. And he's also a player that is a fox in the box. He knows where to put himself.
He's been kind of struggling.
He has been struggling because, like I said again, where do you play him when he comes to play for the Super Eagles, and where does he play for Rangers? Those are the things you have to take into consideration for Femi. You cannot call a player now. You cannot say Messi plays as a number 10 for Barcelona, for example. Now, you now say you should go and play as a 4.
Yeah.
You understand? They are two different things. Like they say, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, you will say it's a failure. It's as simple as that. A fish is a fish because it is inside water. That's the truth. So for me, if we learn to play these players to their strength, and it's curious. It's a curious situation in Nigeria that we always try to play player. We don't play to the strength of each player. That's how to get the best out of them.
If we go to at the forward now, I think that actually lead me to about Kelechi Nwakali.
Okay.
In a recent interview by Augustine Guava, he was saying that Kelechi Iheanacho should stick to a particular position. He said that is what's actually affecting his game at Leicester City. So for the forwards, we have Ahmed Musa, Moses Simon, Odion Ighalo, Taiwo Awoniyi, Alex Iwobi, Victor Osimhen, Sadiq Umar, Kelechi Iheanacho, Samuel Chukwueze, and Mane Dennis. This is very, very competitive.
Yeah, again, we have 10 players.
Yeah.
Unlike the 9 we had in 2019. Yeah. Now, and out of the 9 that we had in 2019, 6 of them are back in this team. We have Ahmed Musa, Chukwueze, Osimhen, Moses Simon, Odion Ighalo, and Alex Iwobi. Kelechi Iheanacho missed the last time. He's in now. This is the first AFCON. So there are 3 other players who are in the attack who are coming in for the first time. We are talking about Imad Dennis, Kelechi Iheanacho, Sadiq Umar, and Taiwo Awoniyi. Yes. The 3 who are missing from the last time are Onyekuru, Samuel Kalu, and Onuachu, who unfortunately got injured a few days to the final is being released. For me, like you said, I'm also excited because I've always told people on a good day, if you unleash the potential of these Super Eagles, they are one of the most attack-minded teams in Africa. They can score against anybody. But when you have a coach who is so scared to go forward, it's like you driving a car while holding the handbrake. You cannot accelerate whilst you are holding the handbrake. You are holding back the attacking potential of this team. So when you have this kind of a team, you'll be hard-pressed to find a combination. It depends on what combination the coach wants to play, the formula, the formation he wants to play.
Ugabon has been in charge of Super Eagles 2006,
yes.
2006 AFCON, then 2010, before the appointment of Sunday Oliseh.
Yes.
Do you think we're going to see an attack-minded formation in the AFCON?
I think based on his 2 previous coming, because I remember in 2006 in Egypt, he had what's his name now? Obafemi Martins at the top of his game. I think he had which other player? I can't readily remember now. But he had players who could attack. But at the end of the day, we lost out simply because on the day when you think we should be attacking, we were cautious. See, you cannot. This is a cup competition that you have to put your best foot forward. If you are going to go with an all-attack-minded mindset, we should. But I think, like I always say, the character of the coach, the orientation of the coach, his pedigree will rub off on the team. Being a defender, it is natural that you see that trace in his game. Unlike a CSR, for example. A CSR team will always try to outscore you.
But coaches approach games based on the opponent, the strength of the opponent.
That is the ideal situation. They should, but in most cases, our coaches have a template that they use. That's why you see that each game. That's the point. That's why you see in games, you see that a certain player will always come out for a certain player to always go in, regardless of who you are playing. If you don't have a template, that shouldn't be happening. Sometimes you need a Femi to come in. Sometimes you need a Kalilu to come in. But when you already have a template that around the 67 to 75 5th minute, Femi must come out, Kayode must go in. That's what you do in all games. That means you are playing to a template. That's the fear that I'm talking about that our coaches have. I think over the years, and given the experience of Eguavoen and what he has been saying, he's been talking tough. You expect him to do something different now, and if he does, I think we are good. And you know the good thing about this is our first game is going to be against Egypt, the same team that we played in our first game when we played in Angola 2010. We lost on that occasion.
Yeah.
Are we going to lose on this occasion too? we are waiting to see.
So much to discuss as far as the African Cup of Nations is concerned, but don't worry, don't fret. As we approach the competition, of course, we'll be taking you ever closer to the national, particularly the preparation of the Super Eagles as far as that is concerned. Of course, like I said, the camp is open now, but of course, some players are still held back by their clubs. Remember that the CAF and FIFA, they've had that agreement with clubs that they won't release the players until January. So we are hoping that by that time or after then, the camp will be full with players. Kyle Ogundare, once again, thank you for coming through on this.
It's always a pleasure.
We are very sorry that we can't take foul play today on the show because of course, the time. Time is not always our friend. When the time will come on Nigeria Super Fans Club, but don't worry, next time we'll have time to do that. I'm your host, Oluwafemi Ashaolu. Until then, have a wonderful year ahead. Bye.
Bye-bye.